Welcome to StopFake, the place where we debunk disinformation about Ukraine and set the record straight. I'm journalist and media consultant Adam Nathan, and I'm happy to guest host this week's edition. Among the fakes this week we present: Russia's national TV channel claims Ukrainians in Poland all work as cleaners and dishwashers. Odessa websites publish a fake OSCE report. Russian media distorts the Italian foreign minister's position on sanctions. And did support for Russian separatists in Ukraine lead to the death of a famous Russian musician? That's this week's edition of StopFake News. So, let's get to it. Russian national channel Rossiya 24 broadcast a story on April 17 claiming that Ukrainians living in Poland work exclusively as cleaners and dishwashers, and that elderly Ukrainians are driven to smuggling contraband on the Ukrainian-Polish border. All Ukrainians in Poland work with rags, either washing dishes or floors, proclaims Rossiya 24. These false claims are easily refuted by official statistics, which show Ukrainians working in a variety of jobs, from construction projects to small independent businesses. Last year, Poland issued a record number of work visas to Ukrainians. The country has many vacant positions, as Poles are also on the move, looking for better paying jobs in Great Britain and Scandinavia. According to Polish employment statistics, the majority of Ukrainians work in construction, farming and manufacturing. Rossiya 24 features a political analyst named Tomasz Jankowski in their story, who speaks disparagingly of Ukrainian migrants. There are 1.5 million Ukrainians in Poland. We allow them to come in and spend the night, but they are illegally buying permanent visas. No EU for them. This is a nightmare. Millions of wild Ukrainians in Europe, warns Jankowski. Tomasz Jankowski is in fact a leader of the pro-Russian right-wing radical party Zmiana and is fond of burning NATO flags at demonstrations and neo-Nazi marches. He enthusiastically supports the pro-Putin bikers group Night Wolves. Rossiya 24, however, fails to mention Jankowski's participation in these ultra-right-wing, anti-EU and anti-NATO parties and organisations. Several websites in the Ukrainian port city of Odessa published a fake OSCE Special Monitoring Mission in Ukraine report criticising the actions of Ukrainian activists who allegedly violated international humanitarian law and disrupted a regional legislative meeting on the establishment of a free economic zone in the region. According to the fake OSCE report, the disruption of the regional meeting is just the latest gross violation of the rule of law, international humanitarian law and basic human rights that Ukrainian authorities are guilty of. This has resulted in a disastrous humanitarian and human rights situation in Odessa, in particular, and Ukraine as a whole. The OSCE Special Monitoring Mission press service informed StopFake that OSCE monitors were present at the regional legislative meeting, but did not issue any reports concerning the event. The mission published an official statement on its Facebook page, calling the report a fake, and asked media to verify the facts before publishing similar fakes in the future. The Russian news agency Interfax, followed by a score of other news sites such as Ukraina.ru, published a news story claiming that the Italian Foreign Ministry was calling for an end to Russian sanctions. Speaking after talks with Russian Deputy Prime Minister Arkady Dvorkovich in Rome, Italian Foreign Minister Paolo Gentiloni said something else entirely. As reported by the Italian news agency Il Velino and Nova, Gentiloni said that sanctions will be discussed at the European Council at the end of June, and a decision will be taken based on an assessment of the implementation of the Minsk agreements regarding the Ukrainian crisis. The situation today is not optimistic, but the message we want to convey is that despite these difficulties and sanctions on the economy, relations in areas not affected by sanctions are relevant, have prospects, and they will be supported by the government, said Gentiloni. The Italian foreign minister did not call for the lifting of sanctions. Moreover, in its version of the story, Interfax omitted an important remark by Gentiloni. He said that Italy intends to pursue cooperation with Russia without breaking any of its current commitments to its allies. Russian agency RIA Novosti, meanwhile, covered the Italian foreign ministerial talks with Russia somewhat more accurately, writing that Italy's potential economic relations with Russia have a huge potential. On April 19, several Russian publications reported that well-known Russian musician Pavel Yusinov died as a result of a fatal head injury sustained in a quarrel with Ukrainians over his views on the separatist war in the eastern Ukrainian industrial basin, Donbass. A source close to the investigation said that before the deadly skirmish, Ustinov quarrelled with two Ukrainians over the situation in the Donbass, writes the Russian site mk.ru. In his blog on the national television channel REN TV, Russian writer and radical politician Zakhar Prilepin also claims that an altercation which occurred in a suburban Moscow bar over the war in eastern Ukraine led to Ustinov's death. Pasha, a Russian diminutive of Pavel, was sitting in a bar discussing those topics that he and I often discussed, the Donbass. We were both concerned about the situation and talked about it often. There were people in the cafe who, it would appear, did not like the conversation. Someone walked up and hit him on the head from behind, writes Prilepin. Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova also contributed to the accusatory discussion with an angry Facebook post on April 19. Give them human rights, European values, respect. There will be no values, no respect until you stop shooting on the Maidan and killing people in bars because of nationality and ideology, wrote Zakharova. However, Russia's prosecuting agency, the Investigative Committee, dismissed claims that Ustinov was attacked because of his view on the war in eastern Ukraine. On April 20, committee spokesman Vladimir Markin said that the investigation ascertains that differing views on the Donbass situation were not the cause of the conflict. Russian authorities arrested a 39-year-old man in connection with Ustinov's death. Ustinov was admitted to hospital with a head injury on April 3rd and remained in a coma for 2 weeks. He died April 19 without regaining consciousness. Pavel Ustinov was the bass guitarist with the popular Russian rock group called Lube. For 20 years, he was well known for his outspoken support for the pro-Russian separatists in the Donbass region and had travelled there to perform for the militants. That's it for this week. Our video digest only presents a small amount of the fakes we debunk every week. You can find much more dissected information on the StopFake website. Be vigilant, look out for fakes, and if you spot any disinformation about Ukraine, forward it to us for a truth autopsy. Thanks for watching.